Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm here with Samora Smallwood and Robert Ifedi, who've done a commercial together for Subaru, and Reid, Janisse, and Jamaal Grant, who've done about 1,000 commercials together for McDonald's. So welcome, 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 everyone. Thank you very much for taking the time to come and talk about what it's like on set now that we opened here on ACTRAToronto at Work. So, I'm going to start with you, Samora. Tell me just briefly tell me what's going on in your world right now with the pandemic and with getting back to work.
So it has been nice. One of the really great things is I worked throughout the pandemic. I did a bunch of voice gigs. So that was really nice. And I find that with so much going on, like it's not just COVID, it's also you're having this national, international reckoning with anti-Black racism. And I'm the Diversity and Inclusion Committee co-chair at ACTRAToronto as well. And it's a lot mental health wise. So I'm always thinking of actors and performers. We're in a precarious position often. We don't know when we're going to work. So the mental health thing has been really tricky, but the good thing is being able to set your pace and kind of realizing that the pedantic pace is not always really beneficial. I hope the rest of the industry takes note and people treat themselves a little bit kinder. So I'm in the middle of that kind of journey of realizing that maybe I don't need to be as insanely productive as I force onto myself. And then, like we do it to ourselves. Why? It's so stressful. And the other part is, see, Robert Ifedi and I are bubbled together, and you can hear an echo in my voice because
you're
on mute, Roberto.
Say again?
Please mute yourself until you're talking because it's echoing.
I didn't realize it was going to be happening. So full disclosure, Robert and Samora are partners in real life, and they were teamed together in this commercial. I was going to bring it up a little bit later, but here it is.
Sorry, David.
So that's no worries. I'm very happy that it's all out there now, and we'll talk about the relationship between Reid and Jamaal coming up in a second. So
Nice.
That'll be the surprise.
But I am a little bit worried too because I go out in the world or I see on social media, although I just deactivated my accounts for a bit, just get recalibrated. I hope that people stay vigilant and take everything seriously, and especially for us in our industry, because we love our jobs. So we don't want to go back to stage 2 or before and have production shut down. It was such a long, hard road, especially from us behind the scenes at ACTRA, knowing how to get all of that stuff in place to make sure that we can go back to work. So I hope that, and I'm very optimistic that it will, that everything will keep going well. But I mean, what am I going to say? COVID sucks.
Yes, that's a good way to stop that intro right there. COVID sucks. And then we'll go to your part now, Robert. Robert, tell me, she speaks the truth, no doubt.
Definitely. So I guess my experience with COVID, can you mute some more? Am I muted?
I can see the way this thing's gonna go.
Yeah. So with me, I started a music recording studio with some old friends of mine to try and stay active and busy during this whole quarantine thing. And then once we hit stage 3, the acting biz just opened up. So I booked 2 movies and a Subaru commercial with Samora.
Wow.
So I can't really complain. Like, it's been really good.
So you're a bit of an underachiever, I can hear. So that's good. That's good that you're making the most of it. So tell me Jamaal, what's COVID been like for you? I know that you told me earlier that you've got actually have a sick kid at home right now.
Yeah. So for me, COVID's basically just been going back to being the stay-at-home dad for a little while. And it was kind of just luck out of nowhere that we got the calls to do the commercials and the COVID commercials where we got to shoot it from home, which was really interesting. And then I think shortly afterwards, then they called us again to do the other one where we got to do it at the actual McDonald's headquarters outside. So I've just kind of been rolling with the punches, kind of just doing whatever came my way. And then when I guess stage 3 happened and we got to open up, well, I got to do some auditions, do some commercials, and yeah, that's where we are now.
So you're being a stay-at-home dad. How old is your kid?
He's 2 actually, as of I think 4 days ago. Yeah.
Oh,
congratulations! That's great.
Birthday, little baby.
So you didn't really have to homeschool so much as teach him to walk and talk.
Exactly. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So we're lucky because with all the stuff in COVID, I figure we get at least 2 years to kind of train him and get him to understand germs and wearing a mask and keeping clean before we have to send him out into the real world. Because just in case COVID is still here 2 years from now, at least he's ready for it. At least he's going into it with the plan already established instead of what people are dealing with now, who are trying to figure out how they're going to send their kids to school and how we're going to do jobs and all that stuff. So,
So is your partner also in the business?
No, she works actually for Canadian Tire's head office. So she's been lucky. We've been lucky with that, in that she started working from home, and they're pretty much going to have her working from home permanently. So her salary never stopped. So that was the good thing. We just we just kept on trucking through.
That's and he's on the mend.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah, I mean, we've all gotten it now. I got sniffles and whatnot, but neither myself nor my wife, we barely feel it. So I'm pretty certain it's not COVID. I'm sure COVID would be a little more long lasting.
Right. Okay. On to you, Reid. What's COVID been like for you?
It's been, up and down. Like I think a lot of people experiencing the same thing. It's I've got 2 kids. My son actually started high school today, so he started grade 9. So that was exciting. So him leaving to high school on a skateboard with his mask was interesting. And my wife is a high school teacher, so she's gone back to school today as well. And my daughter's starting grade 6, so everyone is back in the world as of today. So it's kind of a shock.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really strange, but everyone's very excited to get back. The biggest thing for me during the pandemic was I teach comedy at Second City. So I had a live class on one Friday night, and then on the next Friday in March, I was teaching online. And so having to adapt to Zoom and Google Meets and just doing everything online was my biggest challenge. And I've been teaching ever since. A lot of improv for actors courses and sketch writing, and just having to adapt everything online. And every week I meet with my group of actors who I've never seen in real life, and I just assume that they're real. And
it's a good start. As I am assuming you are real.
I know, right? We all could just be in a simulation right now. Who would know? But it's been going well, and it's a whole new skill set, teaching online, and I've managed to have people in my classes from all over the world, which is pretty cool. And just like Jamaal said, it was really cool to get the call to do those McDonald spots, and the ones from home were so strange and amazing. And once we got onto set, it was really great just to be there, and everyone was so appreciative just to be working again and get around other people doing the thing that they love. So
right.
It was great.
So before we get into the details of you getting back to set, which this is what this is all about. Right. I'm a little interested in how you're feeling now that everyone in your life is going out into the world and then coming back to the house where you've been staying.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit worried about it, to be honest, especially because it looks like things are numbers are going up again. So I think schools are doing what they can to try to mitigate everything, just with all the kids wearing masks. It's going to be really hard to distance with the kids. I don't expect to see my parents or my in-laws anytime soon. So that's a little tricky. It'd be nice if everything was still cool by Thanksgiving, but we're hoping Christmas, but we'll have to see how things go. So it's a bit nerve-wracking, but at the same time, everyone's very happy to be seeing people in the real world again.
No kidding. Yeah. Okay, so Samora and Robert, you've actually shot a commercial together as a couple. I'm assuming that you auditioned together as a couple as well. What was that like? You can start, Robert.
It was pretty cool. Like, we did it in our living room. So the first one was just a self-tape. And then the second one was a Zoom audition, which I think that was our second one at the time.
Our callback, yeah.
Yeah, the callback. And then we had another one. Was it another Zoom or another self-tape for the third?
Nope.
We had 3 auditions. We auditioned 3 times for that one.
Oh, right. We were better suited to play a different couple.
Yes.
Where the couple where the woman is the bossy one. And the one who wins.
I don't know how that even makes sense. But
After they had the callback, they got to feel for me, and they were like,
Let her be the driver's seat.
Tell me what the Zoom. I think most people know what a self-tape is like. Tell me what the Zoom was like. The Zoom audition, the callback.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So a Zoom callback, anyone who's watching this who hasn't had one, I wish I had talked to someone who had done it first, but there are so many important things. So it's really key to know that, like, maybe practice ahead of time. I think that's really important, to set up a little Zoom with a friend and figure out your eye line. And then you feel so much more at ease and in control, because this was a commercial. So it was fun because we're interacting with each other, and it's a commercial. But when I've had also auditions and callbacks where you're in a scene, and that's a lot more stressful when you want to know where your eye line is and where everything that you've got in the world placed. So I have this little book of stickers. You can use them on your computer, and make sure that you have something tall enough so that your computer's there. Make sure your computer's fully charged. Have a backup camera to catch it just in case they lose it. You can send it to casting, your favorite take. And if there's a lag, just stay poised, because there was in our callback a couple of lags, and it's hard because you're not in the real world and you're trying to joke and get along and talk. The whole creative team was there, and they didn't have any screens blacked out, so you're trying to just make sure you can talk to everyone who's at the top. So you could sorry, again, some people have never done this at all. So you actually could see the people who you were auditioning for at the top of the screen.
Yeah, in the top panel, yeah.
And were you auditioning on the same screen, the two of you together, or did you have separate like this?
Same screen.
Yeah. And so could you see the reactions of the people on the little boxes?
Yeah.
Is that better or worse than not seeing them?
For commercials, I find it's not too stressful, because like you have room to like play and improv. But if that was for like a regular like TV or movie audition, then you'd probably be like trying not to watch the reaction to see if you're doing a good job. But for commercials, it's not too.
And they turned it off. Like I've only had two, one callback and one regular audition via Zoom. Mostly it's been self-tapes. But the creative team turned their screen off, which was a lot easier, and just kept your reader on the screen. But Subaru came through Mann casting, and Stephen Mann is so positive and joyful, so his reactions were mostly laughing. And the director of our Subaru commercial was also a really like young, cool guy. So it was great. It was pretty chill. It was nice.
Did you feel like you got it when you were done, or you had no idea? You did.
I knew.
Yeah.
You knew. Oh, that's good. That's good. So now, Jamaal and Reid, you've been doing these series of commercials for a while now. And so the first one that you did when you were coming back was actually in your homes. Talk about that one.
Yeah, sure. Reid, you want to go ahead first?
Sure. I mean, they asked us if we were into it, and I know I was like, yes, please, because it was in May, so it was after a couple of months of, wow, are we ever going to do this again? Yeah, they were super flexible with everything, and they had great ideas, and basically cassette and the production company, they got together and they came up with these great scripts. And the most interesting part, I think, was auditioning my house. So it was basically taking my laptop around my house and placing it in various places, and they had to figure out the best spot to shoot the spot in. So that was interesting. And then having my family.
What did it end up being?
My living room has like a bookshelf that just looked good on camera, and like light from two directions, and it was really good. So they ended up going with my living room. And yeah, we had 5 Big Macs delivered every 2 hours for 2 days. So there was a lot of Big Macs.
Oh my goodness.
Having a family at work. What's that?
Are you serious, Reid?
Yeah.
5 Big Macs every 2 hours for 2 days.
Yeah. I mean, if you think of doing like a food commercial shoot, you don't really see them, but they keep on coming. And they have to look good every time they're there. So, I mean, after a little bit, you don't want to be taking bites anymore. So, yeah, my neighbors had lots of questions. why there was so much McDonald's coming to my house.
Wow.
And you
that's-
said your family, your family was involved somehow?
Well, it's just very strange having your family at work with you. So, I mean, like they really got to see what it's like to do. I mean, especially when you're doing commercials where it's like take 63, where it's like, let's try it again. And like, we have a day, so let's, spend a day shooting this commercial. So they really got to see me do the same thing over and over and over again. And now they don't want to be in commercials. So
I have some specifics here. So were you doing everything? You were setting up the camera, you were setting up the lighting, you were doing everything?
You want to take this one, Jamaal?
Yeah, so in my house, they shot ours in the kitchen because they had the best lighting, and they said they wanted the height chart behind me. And yeah, we had to set up the camera for the spot, and they would say, okay, adjust it here, adjust it there. Tell me what kind of light does this work? And I dim it, write it down.
Sorry. So wait a second. They sent you a camera and a tripod?
No. We just used our actual laptop. So I'm using a MacBook Pro, and my agent called me ahead of time. And they wanted to get the specs of what kind of equipment do you have. So I told them everything I had, and I guess same thing with Reid. And then they just sent us what we didn't have to fill in the gaps. So I got sent a microphone, which I ended up buying later on, and then I think Reid, you got a hard drive that had to be sent to you, wasn't it, or a whole computer?
Yeah, they actually sent me this a MacBook Pro, so I could use that one. They actually recorded the Zoom call, the actual Zoom calls that we did, and then they also had us record every take on QuickTime on our computers, and then take all of those QuickTime files, upload them to a hard drive, or download them, upload them. Upload. And then they came and picked up the hard drive along with the equipment and then any kind of wardrobe they had and all that fun stuff. So yeah, it was very much, they would drop a few things off at our house, including like a bunch of McDonald's branded things that we needed. And then, yeah, we recorded each take in front of our computer while they recorded it on Zoom. So there was a backup. And yeah, we did that for 2 days in our homes.
Wow.
So I'm sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead, Jamaal.
I was going to say, it's funny because in hindsight, I've tried to do this in the past, recording auditions on self-tapes using QuickTime with my computer. And I have noticed when I go to edit them, there tends to be a really bad lag in the audio after about 2 or 3 minutes. And when I looked at that, I thought to myself, we recorded for 2 days. So I can't even imagine how much work they had to go through to try and sync up our audio with our actual voices so that it would actually make sense. So, I mean, it doesn't surprise me. They said it was a pain and they didn't really want to have to do it again. And I think that's probably the reason why. But yeah.
So 2 things. First of all, they said to you, they said to you, are you, they approached you and said, hey, are you into this? Meaning, are you perhaps just because of COVID afraid, or
I think that's what it was. Yeah, because my agent called me. She was very, very cautious about it. She's always been a cautious person, but she said, I don't know how I feel about this. And I said, tell me what it is. And as soon as she said it, I said, I'm in. She said, really? And I said, yeah, why wouldn't I be? I mean, if the stores are going to still be open and they're still going to deliver to me, nobody touches the food except the people making it, and the bags are sealed. So if anything, this is probably the safest it could be, because no one else is going to touch the food between when it's made to when I get it. Right. So yeah, I was 100% down. Plus I was like, I want money.
Okay, so this is what the other question I wanted to ask is, did they pay you for your camera work and for your lighting work and for your auditioning, your housework?
They did in a way. They gave us a creative fee.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, lovely.
I mean, the creative fee is often included when you're going to be improvising in a spot.
Yeah.
Which is great. I mean, I think a part of being able to create these spots and for them to convince, I think, even McDonald's to do these spots, I think, was we can kind of take a risk and see if these even work. So I think it involved a lot of compromise from all of us who were creating it, because even the act of what a food designer would normally do, like you're kind of doing that on your own, like lining up your burgers and getting them all ready and making sure they look good on the screen. So there's lots of little things where it's like, okay, I mean, this isn't what we normally do on a shoot. And normally there would be a team of people doing all of these things. And I think that was part of why our agents were like, are you sure you want to do this? Because they knew that there was going to be a lot of extra things going on. Yeah. And I think in normal times, we wouldn't be doing those things because it takes the work away from someone else, and B, like we have our expertise, we do our things well. But I think in that time in May, it was like, what can we all do together to try to create something and get some people working? And I think it was pretty cool that we were able to get it done.
I think there's one thing to point out too, is that I remember when we got the call, it was like a big gap between when we got the original call and then when they decided we were going to do it, because they weren't sure if they were going to get the funding. And I remember I called up Reid and I said, you know, because it's been a while, and I said, listen, if they don't do this, they don't call us, why don't we just write one and let's just put it up on YouTube. Let's just do our own, right? And we thought about it. We got together and we were just like, it was like a week later, we're like, okay, if they don't get back to us in a week, let's just do it. And then sure enough, a week later, they called up and said, here's your scripts, here we go. And we're like, okay, never mind, we can just do the one they wrote.
You would have done it after you called ACTRA and said, this is okay, right?
Well, the idea was not to emphasize McDonald's, it was to emphasize the characters.
Got it. The characters are still here, they haven't been, yeah, I get it. Yeah. So Samora, so you how was it, first of all, when did you shoot your Subaru, you two?
3 weeks ago.
Oh, so it's already, things had opened up a bit. So what was it like for you when you got to set, or even getting to set?
Yes. It was interesting because all the stuff that you were talking about, Reid, when I was listening to you, I was thinking, I'm so glad that you guys talked about like the creative fee that your rep was able to get for you. And I didn't know that the spot was in May, because that's a lot of work, like, right? All these extra things for actors, we're used to doing the thing we do well. And sometimes people don't know how, obviously we're talking about commercials, but there's so much prep that goes into it, and you want to get ready, even get in the right headspace. You want to give all that energy and give the most to every job that you go to. So when we got the call, it was strange because the fitting was very different, right? Like, you're not going to go, we didn't go in to meet for the fitting. And for me,
they sent it to you?
They wanted to see some of the stuff that you had, which as actors, we know how lovely that is. It's like auditioning your home. Are my clothes good enough for this spot? So that was wonderful. We did not end up using any of my own clothing, but we used my own necklace, which was nice. So a little bit more work because you're back and forth with the costume person all the time. And then there was a big conversation about my fingernails. Were they the right length? Were they the right shape? What color could they be? And they were going to send a manicurist to my house to get them the way they wanted them. I wasn't that comfortable with that. And I wasn't comfortable going to the salon either. They offered to pay for that. And then they said, well, you know what about we have the manicurist meet you in the lobby or meet you at the park. And we will have this person do your nails the way we want them to look. Because I'm the driver in the spot, and I'm going to touch the rear view mirror and the steering wheel. They're going to have close-ups and stuff. So I felt very, very strange. I didn't really want to. So I was like, you know what, why don't you just send me a picture of how you want the nails to look, and I will handle it. I will do it myself at home. So there was that. And then when we got to set, everyone was on board, kind of like what Reid and Jamaal were saying. People want to work, and it's nice to be back at work. So everyone was really, really safe on sets now. There's a COVID coordinator, and that person takes their job very seriously, as they should. And it was really great. Everybody was very, very set. The really strange thing was I was so excited because I have 3 children in this spot. Mom, when you see this in the spot, not in real life, I'm not promising that there are 3 kids coming.
You didn't instantaneously have 3 kids appear in your life.
No, and the mother of the children who has to be on set was just telling us, like, you need to do it. Well, we're going to, okay? Jamaal, can you vouch for that? Can you co-sign? It's a good idea, have a kid?
I can vouch for what, sorry?
Having a kid is a good idea?
Yes. Here's why I hesitated, is because the first couple years, they are rough. Like, it's hard at the beginning, but the rewards do outweigh all the negative stuff in the end. Like, it is incredible to see the kid smile when he's happy. His birthday was amazing. So, yes.
Okay.
And you as well, you can co-sign this? Good idea?
Yeah, it's hard at the beginning, but now they like do my taxes, they clean the house.
Wait. Mine is 18 and he drives me around. So there you go.
And you always have a reader, a reluctant reader. My
Oh,
kids have gone over so many auditions with me where it's just like, come on, Lucy, one more take. And she's like, Dad, we've done it like 6 times. I'm like, just one more, please, just one more. All right, here we go.
so okay. Were these kids were in the car with you? How did that work?
No, they did not have us in the car. So they shot them in the back, shot them, drove around, then rotated.
It was so strange. It was really strange because I'm like, first after, so I'm a toucher, I'm a hugger, I'm a very like, Dave, we're always, first thing as soon as I see you in our actor meetings, hi, give a big hug. So then I really had to reckon after Me Too and after Time's Up, realizing that, you really have to ask if someone's a hugger before you put hands on someone else. I mean, you would think that I would know this, but are you a hugger? And now we're in the world where we might not like shaking hands and hugging and touching. So it was really strange to be there with these 3 children who are absolutely
And look like actually look like our kids.
Oh, wow, that's good.
But we never shot with them in the car. And it's like there's a difference between being in an audition and they're like, do you have your license? Can you drive? Yes, yes. And then they say, have you ever towed a big rig? I was honest that no, I had not. And then they on this beautiful car, like, man, it would have been awesome to get the car in lieu of payment. It really was. But then they put 2 cameras on the sides of this rig because it's an SUV. It's like I'm a big person and Robert's like, we're big, right? Like, so it's a big car. It could fit us. And I drove down a mountain and up a mountain with lights and 2 cameras on.
There's 2 big rigs on both sides of the car. Trees are like on a narrow path. Like, so she like tries to like look at me, smile. Oh, watch for the ditch there.
Wow.
It was like pretty difficult.
And their director and DOP, they're all in the back seat and they're telling you.
Oh, they're in the back. They're playing the kids.
No, the director's there to tell you what he wants from you.
Yeah,
move your hand here, smile here, turn this away.
Wow.
That was fun though. I did it. I mean, honestly, you guys, I kid you not. I'm from Newfoundland, so I'm very used to like the outdoorsy type of a vibe. But the edge, I would say, is like, say this much to the edge of the side. And there's someone in the car whose job it is to tell you, watch the edge, mind the edge. It was unbelievable.
So I'm assuming that the DOP and the director who were giving you notes and everything were masked.
Yeah, masked. So a face mask and a face shield.
Okay.
In the back seat.
And so when you arrived the set was outdoors. So you arrived at base camp.
So it was we had 4 days on this spot.
Wow.
So normally we get a car service to pick you up, transportation, but because of COVID, we had to rent a car and they reimbursed me afterwards.
Oh, that's decent.
So you have to drive there. So the first one was a house in Mississauga. And so on set, like everyone has their designated spots and like a color associated with them. So you have to stay in your spot. So talent's in this one corner, the grips are in one corner, the production staff's in another corner, the creative head office, they're in their own little corner.
And someone comes to yell at you if you get out of your color zone.
Yeah, so someone's there.
Again.
Oh yeah.
And there's
someone there floating around.
Outdoors.
So outdoor and indoor.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Yeah. So then there's someone there on set minding you, like, oh, okay, put your face mask on. Oh, you need your gloves here. Okay, make sure you're 6 feet apart. There's an isolation tent. So if anyone's feeling sick, you go to the isolation tent. Then a doctor comes and checks you out. They take your temperature as soon as you arrive on set. You take your temperature, you do a questionnaire, and then off you go.
Any COVID tests for any of you?
Every morning they took your temperature.
But no actual COVID test.
No. Not for the production, but I actually cried a little on the 3rd day. I just was like, I desperately hope our industry, especially for TV and film, when you are interacting with other people, I'm just putting that good energy out there that we can get back to being able to work closely with people again, because it was so strange. It really was very strange, but really nice to see the resilience of the people in the industry, the crews and all the creative and the actors and everyone just doing their best to make sure that you could do your job and keep the industry going. That feeling is actually what made me cry. We were on lunch and I was looking around. I was like, just look at everybody. Like, everyone has extra work to do. The food people have extra work to do. Everybody has extra work to do to make sure we can still do this thing. So it was like a little bit of a sad cry, but a happy cry. It was a whole thing.
So did Jamaal and Reid, did you actually have McDonald's for lunch? How did that work?
Uh, um, I ended up having it for lunch just because I took so many bites of those burgers. I mean, and my family was also allowed to order, which was that really made it for them. So we got a couple McFlurries and stuff like that. So I mean, that made it all worth it. The fact that they had to be quiet and upstairs for the whole day. That
There's
was
a
pretty
McFlurry in it for you.
fun. And that's it. That's all it takes for my kids. They're like, I'll be quiet for 8 hours for that. No problem.
Yeah. Same here. It was the same thing here. My wife was just like, she was like, I'll eat McDonald's. And I said, yeah, I'll just get you that. I didn't eat anything because we eat the McDonald's on set, but yeah, same thing. She wanted the food. She wanted that McFlurry both days. So as long as you get me that, I'm cool.
So when did you two shoot the studio versions of your commercial? Like you shot at home and you've done
mid-July, I think. So it was still very much in the world of not that it's opened up extremely like back to normal, but I mean, in July, people were still pretty trepidatious. Almost everyone that I saw on set, it was their first time back in months. But yeah, everyone was very excited to work. Our whole shoot was outside. So we went inside trailers for hair and makeup, but that's pretty much it. And it's minimal. So it was just like, your standard 3 minutes in a chair going, you're good. And then everything else was outside. And the weird moments were when Jamaal and I took our masks off to actually shoot. Because like we were 6 feet apart, so I felt pretty good. We were outside, but everyone else is masked the whole time. And so we were the only ones who were like, here we go. Doing this. Yeah.
It's true. Yeah.
And again, no COVID testing prior to it or no request for that.
No. Just a temperature. That's all I did.
Because you were outside and physically distanced, you're safe. It's difficult to, from what we understand, contracted when that's the situation. You have to really be in each other's faces and you have to be extended amount of time indoors with no breeze.
They also built special props for us. So the picnic bench we had was specifically built so that we would be able to sit at it, but still be 6 feet apart.
Wow.
It was extended, or it was?
It was built to be just slightly longer than a regular bench was.
And the way they shot it, it didn't look like it was an extra big bench.
No, because of the way they put it behind us, it still looks like it's a regular table, which is good. Yeah.
And when you got this second call, was it the same thing? Hey, are you guys into maybe doing this?
Oh yeah, absolutely. As soon as they said, my agent called me, she says, so listen, McDonald's called. Yes, absolutely. I don't even care what it is. Yes.
My wife wants a McFlurry.
Yeah. Like, let's do it. And she's like, well, I have to tell you, it's not the Big Mac bacon. I said, I don't care. Let's do it. Whatever it is, let's go.
And your family was okay, Reid?
Yeah. I mean, the fact that it was outside is a big deal. The fact that, most of the evidence, just like you said, inside is way worse. Outside, if you're 6 feet apart, the ventilation, I think, is key. I think the first time I'm in a set where I'm inside a confined area for several hours with a lot of people is going to be the interesting one. I really think that testing should be incorporated into this. I mean, I've had 4 COVID tests now just to be sure. Kind of this summer, like visiting family and stuff like that, just to be sure. Like even if I'm just going to go see my parents, just to like make sure everything's good. And I think that if it becomes, I think testing is going to become faster, and hopefully they'll have some kind of a saliva test so you don't have to have the thing shoved up your nose. If that's the case, I can see that being incorporated kind of into contracts where it's like everyone needs to be tested on this day, wait to like 3 days and then stay kind of quarantined, and then everybody comes to set. And I know testing is not 100%. There are false positives and false negatives, but I think that would get more people at ease. And I think that's something that hopefully will be incorporated going forward.
I think that on some of the longer productions, that's the case. I know that I'm doing some dialogue coaching on an American film right now, and everyone is being tested every second day.
Great.
And that's just standard practice. You know, if you're there the whole week, then Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you're going to be tested. Even if you're just there for one day and then another day, like Monday, and then you're not back until Thursday, you still have to be tested. They're really on top of that. And they're also making sure that when people are in eating, for example, they created these sort of X-shaped plexiglass where they can sit at tables with each other, but they're not breathing on each other when they're eating. So
yeah, we had that out at the Subaru commercial as well.
Yeah. So just anybody can just chime in here. Did you feel safe?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I felt
Totally safe. Yep.
Yeah.
They took every precaution. They were like over there.
Yes.
If anything, they were like more so like they like okay, you guys can relax a bit, but no, they're on it. Like anytime someone touched something, there's someone there right after you wiping it down. Like everyone was apart. There's always some say, oh, mask up, gloves on. Like there's always. So I felt really safe, really secure. Again, like the only downside was we didn't really get to interact with the kids as much as we wanted to, but.
And one little downside of this is obviously from a very privileged position. One of the whole Subaru shoot was in the beautiful country in the mountains, and they put us up in this resort for everybody who's on the commercial for the day when we were going to be up in the mountains. And it was a gorgeous resort, and there was a fire pit and all this. You couldn't do any of the activities associated with the place that you were staying because of COVID. Like,
they didn't want you interacting with people.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And just, it didn't exactly feel right. It's like, we're here to go to work. Like, you could have put in a request to go to the pool or the whatever, but why? Like, you know,
where were you?
Mulmer? Somewhere where Skip the Dishes had no options for vegans.
Right. We should get to the food aspect of it. We can start with you, Samora. What was the food like? I guess Skip the Dishes was the food, or is that what you were ordering?
No, when we were back at the hotel, they gave you your per diem, right? And we were hungry. We wrapped, and I was hungry, but there was absolutely nothing. Skip the Dishes was like, we don't know where you at. Literally. But the food was good on set. Like me, see, I'm a snacker. I really like food.
Craft.
And I actually have a name for my alter ego, you know, my cheat day alter ego, but that's a whole other thing. The food on set was very good, but you can't grab snacks like normal.
No.
So where you might like grab like 3 like little fruit snackies, someone has to grab them for you. So you're very aware of like how many snacks you've had.
And they're aware.
You know what I'm saying? Very much accountability.
Yeah, the big issue was like it's portions, right? So like for lunch, everything's already pre-wrapped for you. So like most of the time you only get like 1 serving. If you're lucky at the end of it, you can ask for seconds. Whereas prior to this COVID thing, you just buffet style, you're done, you get up, get some more, sit back down. But here was this really more controlled.
Portions. And did you order ahead of time? Did you have a choice?
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. They send you like I guess a doodle poll with the menu each day. And then,
but you know what's interesting now? What I've been doing is I've been taking pictures on sets. Every set that I've been on the past few years, I'm going to put it together and I'm going to see, you know, you go to a set and there are 4 meat options. Every beast on the planet could be on your plate. You got a fish, you got a pork, you got a beef, you have a chicken. And then you have tofu cubes. One option. And this guy is 6'4", you know, walking on a set, 220, big
salad and some tofu bites.
You know?
Oh no.
I'm 5'9". I need like some food. So I would love, but it was delicious food, and they did a really great job. And the caterers are working under a lot of pressure, and there was something different every day, and they really, really did their best. I'm just being, you know, a brat, I guess.
Well, no, I mean, it's your reality. If you feel that the portions are too small, then that's an issue for.
I thought the portions were great. It would be nice to have variety, you know, at the end when you look like a little piece of cake.
How many different types of tofu are there? I mean, I know that there's the different types of meat, but I'm kidding.
Soft and hard, that's it.
All the tofu beasts.
I was actually going with that for a second.
What was the food like for you two, Jamaal and Reid, on the shoot where you were outside of your houses?
I think. Oh yeah, that's right. So there was the same idea. They gave us prepackaged portions. And I'll agree with what Robert's saying is that, you know, it's not that I wanted more, but it's the fact that you had the option of getting more. And that option is just gone. Like you just, it's gone now. It's like, this is what you get, and then that's it. And the only thing I thought was kind of ironic was that you almost kind of feel like you are diseased when you're on a set, because they had the little glass dividers on the tables and whatnot. And I sat at a table, and it seemed like the entire crew just, you know, stayed as far away from me as they possibly could. Like, they're just like, we do not want to get this actor sick, so let's just not sit at his table. So I kind of sat at the table, and I was kind of like, you know, this is incredibly lonely. Like, there's nobody here. And even Reid, when he went off and ate somewhere else by himself, I'm like, I don't even get to eat with Reid. I'm like, this is crazy.
Sort of like a bad high school situation, huh?
Kind of, right?
Yeah.
I know that they're doing it because they want to be safe, but it's like the ironic, you know, thing that comes along with it is that you end up being pretty much on your own.
And Reid, what was the reason that you didn't want to eat with Jamaal?
Well, I mean, I have to talk to that guy all day long. Give me a little bit of a break from this guy.
Want to keep it fresh.
Yeah.
So, what was it? How was it different working, Samora, working with Robert on a gig? How was that?
Very interesting. Indeed.
Interesting is an interesting word, Samora.
Well, everyone who has a partner or shares a space with someone, you know what I mean, right?
Mhm.
Every human being does things their own way. I won't say I'm controlling. I'll just say I do things right.
Yeah, right.
So, you know, I have a way I do things when I'm getting ready to set, how I like to get up. I have to do I have a whole ritual thing in the morning. So then you're incorporating this other person into that. So that's one thing. It was really nice, actually, to go to work with Robert and be bringing income into the household together and getting to see what he is like on set. But also, yeah, it is different. It's strange when you're on set with somebody in your own, like in your own crew that you're with, because if you want that time, like me, I'm also very protective of all the people I love, and working for ACTRA, I'm a member of leadership at ACTRA. I found myself very keenly aware of how Robert was being treated, and if he was being treated well, and you know, if everything was being taken care of, and we were treated very, very well. But yeah, that was very interesting, getting to set with someone else who might not have the same concept of time as I do, is all I'll say.
Okay. Robert, what was it like for you?
It was pretty cool for me. The only thing was, like, we both have our different processes of how we do things. I'm more like lax, laid back. She's more, you need this, you have to make a list. This is what I'm going to bring to set. Make sure you have this and that, you know? So that was the only, I guess, where you like bumped heads.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, it was pretty fun. I guess, like, because we bubbled together, we always had to be together on set. So even in between shooting, we were stuck together by ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the time, like, we just distanced ourselves from the rest of the crew, and we were going like on nature walks with each other, just like to pass the time. And then, yeah, other than that, it was pretty good. The dual income into the house, so
it's a job, you know. That's a good thing that you get to work together, double the pay with both of you.
Exactly, double the pay, double the per diem, and then
Right.
we both got to be in a hotel together.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
And you know, Robert is used to helping me with my self-tapes and saying, you know, I know what you can do in a moment like that. You should try that a little harder next time. Don't hold back. And I will do the same for him, right? Like, there's the turn, you know, really take your time with that turn. So when we were on set, the director's giving you notes, it's like, Samora, shut up.
That should have been the commercial.
Yeah, really.
It's just your real relationship while you're shooting the commercial.
Yeah.
You know?
So how many years of Reid? How many years have you and Jamaal been working together on these commercials now?
Oh, the first one was what, two or 3 years ago?
2017. That was when I thought I was going to quit too.
Like,
Quit the business?
Yeah.
Really? So
Yeah. I remember telling Reid that when we were there. I just got so tired of it. It was just
my last one. It's my last one, man.
That's it. That's it. I'm done. I'm not doing it. And then that year was just like, it exploded, like just nonstop jobs. And I was just like, you know, maybe I'll just tough it out a little bit, see how it goes, you know. Here we are 3 years later, still going. So, yeah.
And when they hired you for this, did they hire you as a campaign, or did they hire you for one and they really liked your dynamic?
Just one.
Just one. Wow, that's so cool. That's the gift that keeps on giving. That's fantastic.
And Reid, do you remember this? I told you about this. So here's a funny thing, and Samora, you might actually get a little kick out of this, or maybe not. When I first auditioned for this, and I'm just going to put it out there, there was basically 3 white gentlemen, and then there was 1 black gentleman, myself. And so we auditioned, I read with everybody, and I was thinking to myself, who actually did I work well with? I'm like, oh, I worked with Reid, he was good, and Jason was good. Then I get a phone call that night from my agent saying, so she was mad. She's like, they liked you for this, but the producers want to see you go to the store at McDonald's and buy another Big Mac and take a picture of yourself holding it and eating it. And I was like, what? Why? What do you mean? And it was because they were afraid that the Big Mac would look too small in my hands. And I thought, what? That is so weird. So I didn't know what to really do because I thought we bought one and I took it and I was like, these things, they are small. I have big hands. So I had a friend at work who we went and we bought a double Big Mac. And we kind of situated the burgers in such a way you couldn't see the second one. And then I held that one and we took the picture and it worked. Sure enough.
Nice. Wow.
Smart.
This is full disclosure.
Wow.
Here. McDonald's doesn't know. Like you can't tell from a Zoom how tall you are, Jamaal. Are you exceptionally tall?
No, I'm 5'10", so average height for I guess a guy, really.
Right. And Robert, you're not.
6'4".
6'4". Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm not trying to disparage Big Mac, but I know in the past when I've actually put one in my hand, it also doesn't look that big.
No.
And I'm like 5'9", 5'10", so
I have tiny hands, so it looks enormous in my hand.
That's why you got the job. And
The only reason I got the job is I have these little Trump hands, and they're like, whoa, it looks.
You do not have small hands.
I think they're pretty normal.
I think we covered so much of the stuff. So have you shot other commercials in this time of COVID other than these?
Myself? No, it's just McDonald's.
No?
I'm going back to audition in real life has been interesting.
Tell me.
Just going back into the casting houses, it's funny how much socializing you realize you did back in the day where it's just like you see everyone and I know everyone who's going to be called out for all the commercials that I get called out for, and it's a nice little kind of comedy community, and it's where I used to get to see everyone. So the past couple of times I've gone in, it's like, hey, and you do that awkward thing where you're like, we can't get close, but we're like, hello, and everyone has their masks on, so you can't tell if people are smiling. It's so awkward, but that's been the most emotional part of it for me, is just seeing people again that I haven't seen, kind of like acquaintances and friends in the industry that I just haven't been really keeping in touch with. It's seeing them and catching up with them, like sitting 6 feet apart in an audition house with masks on and just talking about our lives. It's been a really cool part of it. And then just being able to go and audition, kind of the way it used to be, it's been nice so far.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else have that feeling?
I did a spot for BMO. It was a voice only, but that's so true. I forgot when you get to the studio, normally there's so much movement and talking and everyone socializes before you go in. And then when you're on break, everyone comes out to get an espresso together, and there was just none of that. So it's sort of like recording in Zombieland, kind of everyone's off. So yeah, that was strange. But yes, going back into the audition room, it's my zone, man. I love that spot.
It's funny because this is actually the part of like auditioning on Zoom that I've found to be the hardest part of all this. And I'm sure you guys would probably agree, is that when you go into an audition, as Reid said, there's an energy. There's the people that you see, you either walk in with, 3 different moods. You walk in, you see people, you either feel fear because you're not going to get them. You feel calmness because you're like, oh, there's my friends. Or you feel competitive because you're like, oh, I'm totally going to beat this guy for the role. And I find that gives you a sort of energy for when you go into the audition, you see their names and you're like, oh, Reid's here for this, huh? Oh, I'm going to take this job from Reid. I can totally beat him up for this. But when you're doing Zoom, you don't get that. You sit at home, your computer in front of you, you have your coffee, and you're waiting for the screen to come up, and then it comes up, and it's like it's jarring. You're kind of like, oh, I guess we're going. I guess we're doing this now. And then you're sitting down most of the time. Like most people don't think to put it up on a lens so they can stand up. And it
I
just
stand. I stack boxes in my laptop, so I'm standing the whole time.
Yeah, like you have to make all these adjustments. As Samora was saying about the eye line thing, I ask every audition. I always ask, where do you want me to look? Because I don't know what they want me to do, and I feel like we're still figuring it out, and it's rough. I can't wait to go back. And when I audition at Powerhouse, I'm happy because I know we get to go into Powerhouse.
Yeah.
I don't even sign in before my audition anymore because of what you were just talking about, Jamaal. I can't like look. I don't want to see the names. I don't want to know. I got to do it after. I had a call back though last month where you did have a sign-in sheet and everyone signed in on this Excel doc, so you did know who auditioned, which was so strange to do that from Zoom. But yeah, I prefer the real life audition. Although there are benefits to self-taping, you can do it again and again, but you do have to, when you're self-taping at home, learn how to trust yourself and realize that you are capable and able and have booked jobs many times with 1 or 2 takes.
Yeah.
So any last recommendations for our members about how safe it is going back to work right now? Anybody?
It's super safe. My only recommendation is when you're getting the radar tests for your temperature, make sure you point it at like your wrist or your elbow and not like your brain. Because if you have like 4 days or a week on set, that laser to your brain is not good for you. So you want to get them to take your temperature with your inside your elbow or your wrist.
I have not heard about that. Thank you. That's
yeah, because I find that people doing the tests, doing the temperatures, they're not actual medical professionals. They're not doctors.
They're radar cops.
Exactly.
How
so
fast
doctors
is your
would always
brain moving?
yeah. So doctors would normally use your wrist. They know not to shoot at your brain, right? But these people, they don't know. They just see a quick tutorial video that they get before set, and then they just point at your brain.
Well, that's good advice. Thank you very much.
I can recommend that you shoot at your wrist or your inside your elbow.
Anybody else?
I would say that I felt safer on set in July than I did in like the limited social gathered interactions that I had in my own personal life. I always find that if I'm around even like 2 or 3 other people at a park, there's always that one person who's just more chill than everyone else, and they're getting closer to people, and you're just like, whoa. And I find that quite a few of my friends are just more relaxed about everything than I am even. And I find that on set, everyone has the exact same goals and level of how seriously they're taking this, and everyone always has the masks on, and you never have to tell anyone like, whoa, hey, like, can you put your mask on? Can you get back 6 feet?
No one wants to be a super spreader on set. No one wants to be the reason why you shut down production. So everyone takes their utmost precautions.
Yeah, so I felt safer on set than I did like in my front yard with my neighbors there. So
straight up. That's my advice. Take it seriously. If you're on a set, just take it seriously and know that we want our industry to come back, and you play a role in that, right? And that's pretty much my philosophy in life. Don't just take what you can get, but give. So know that just because this is your one job, it's a responsibility to not, like, normally you would go out with the crew after and have drinks, and Robert and I just went back to our hotel room and did our work, and it's an adjustment period, and it does suck. It really does suck. I get it, but we're in a different part of the world, and if we want our industry to thrive, maybe don't. It does boggle the mind when I see on social media people at these huge gatherings, or they're out on a boat jammed on with 20 other people or whatever.
No masks and no distance.
I'm not meaning to shame. I really don't want to be a part of that, but it is serious. So just do your part. If you're working on a set, if you're in this industry, if you want our industry to thrive and you want Toronto to keep going, it's just beautiful. Some U.S. service productions are coming back. We're going to get back on our feet. Just do your part, and you'll hang out with your friends. I'm sure that next summer we might have a better time, and we want to just make sure that the second wave doesn't come. And very importantly, develop a process for yourself, whether that's meditation or journaling or whatever, when you get to set, because it is very strange. Like what Robert's saying is, we got to set and you fill out this questionnaire and then you get this laser zerk to the brain, and it's like, am I walking on to the set of The Walking Dead? That would be cool. Just find a process so that you can do your best work, right? So that you can represent yourself as talent and your craft to the best of your ability, and don't just, because there's so many distractions now with the safety guidelines and protocols, that you want to make sure to recenter yourself so you can do your job well.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for your time, everybody. Thank you, Samora and Robert and Jamaal and Reid, for sharing your experiences on set. And I think we've gone a long way to allay some fears that our members have possibly about getting back on set, and saying that you know, just to quote Reid, he feels safer on set than he does in his front yard. So, and it could have to do with maneuvering all those McDonald's boxes. But thank you very much for your time, and let's see you on set. Thank you so much.
Thank you, David. Nice to meet you, Jamaal and Reid.
Thanks, David. Nice to meet you, Reid. Jamaal.
Bye.